Hello, my name is Professor Nira Chamberlain, and I'm the President of the Mathematical Association. And welcome to the ninth edition of What is the Point of Mathematics? Today we have Becky. Becky, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hiya, yes. So I am Becky Reed. I am the head of maths at a girls' school in South East London. And one of our focuses for the past few years has been on diversifying and decolonising our maths curriculum. And it's something that we've worked with Nira a little bit in the past. And it's something that we're really excited about working in the future as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is the point of mathematics?
So this has caused a lot of discussion in our department office over the past few days. And I think for me, mathematics is about understanding the world around us. I don't think there's anything in maths that I couldn't manage to say, oh, well, that's maths, that thing in the real world, I can pin that back to maths. And I think as a teacher, our job is to show students that maths is so much more than just isolated topics and lessons. It is this whole series of interconnected ideas. And actually, you can pin everything back to just basic number. And I think that there is so much of the world that is due to the progress that we have made with maths, and the progress that science has been made is all because of the maths, and it explains why. The biggest one, I think, is it explains why. So something that we were having an issue with our students is we would teach them something and they would say, well, why are we learning this? Like, what's the point? So then we came up with this idea of using big learning questions to give them that why, because that for students is often the barrier with learning, is they don't see the importance of it, especially with maths. Like if you ask people what they remember from school, it's trigonometry, Pythagoras. So we had this idea of, okay, well, let's take that away and let's explain why we are doing this. So just as an example, we have done a scheme of work with Year 7 on number systems, and we talked about why zero existed and what happened before zero, and that idea of sort of you can't have nothing and how do you represent nothing. And that why has meant students just have such a good understanding of why they're doing the math, because it's that buy-in often, isn't it, that why are we doing this? They now see why we're doing it and they can kind of see why it came to be. And that for me is that's our job, is to give them the why and just show them just the absolute awesomeness that is maths and just how it is everywhere and in everything that we do in life.
Yes, so mathematics is everywhere. It's like that in connecting ideas, focusing it back onto the numbers and giving the students the why. The students say why, that's okay, but we tell them the why. Excellent. Now, one thing you actually alluded to in your introduction is talking about making mathematics much more representative. Now, why do you see that as important?
I think it comes back to that idea again of why it's just maths in general. What is maths and the importance? I think the biggest one for us as teachers is we need to show students people like them who are role models for them. And we have the opportunity to do that through maths, because maths isn't just done in white Europe. It isn't just the ancient Greeks who did this. It isn't that. It is done all over the world. And it's our sort of, I think, priority to show the students that. So we have done lots of work with our students on how they did multiplication across the world. And we've shown them methods from ancient Egypt, from China, from Italy, from Russia, and just letting them see, look how all these different people did it, and look, and why is the one that we use, why do we do that? And actually, is that the best method? And really getting them to think. So I think our Year 7s have settled on the fact that they prefer the Italian method the most now. But it's just that why. And I think for them, it's so important to show them that maths has been done for thousands of years. It is the reason the world is the way it is. We look at how the pyramids were built, and actually that was Pythagoras. It wasn't Pythagoras who invented Pythagoras. It was done in ancient Egypt and ancient Babylon. Pythagoras is just the name that we give it. So now my students refer to it as Pythagoras, because it wasn't his theorem, it was someone else's theorem that he's taken. And then they start to see and they get really invested in that math. And I think for them, it's just so important. Just as a sort of micro example, we were doing Rangoli patterns on Friday for Syrian symmetry. And one of my students, I have never seen her so excited and so engaged in a lesson. And she came to the front and was saying how she does them at home and talking about her experience. And it just gives them this in and saying, look, there are people like me represented in maths, and it's our chance, I think, as teachers, and we really should take it, to just show them that and say, look at all these people that are doing it. There is someone like you to aspire to. And I think when you came into school, it's giving them someone, look at these incredibly successful people. It's not just your maths teacher stood in front of you. It's so much more than that. And it just gives them just that buy-in again. And it's that why do we do it, and that motivation.
Excellent. Okay, final question. Final question. Now, our Prime Minister recently said that mathematics should be made compulsory for everybody up to the age of 18. Do you agree with this?
I don't think so, but I think I have a reason for that. And I think that is in its current form, how maths is perceived currently, I think no, I think it is a losing battle. I think currently there is this perception of maths. Whenever I speak to parents, they can't help their student with, they can't help their child with maths. They can't do it themselves. If people say, like, people don't ever say, oh, I can't read. They will never say that to you. They will say, I can't do maths to you, but they will never say, I can't read. And that perception is something that I think can be changed, but I think it comes from top-down government and teachers and schools working together. I think the GCSE itself, before we think about to 18, I think we need to look at the GCSE itself and think, is that fit for purpose in its current state? Because I would argue that everyone should be able to leave school with some kind of maths qualification. And some of my year 11, so I've had a class of year 11s this year, fantastic at number, absolutely brilliant at understanding percentages and those key life skills that I think ultimately, I think that's what Rishi Sunak is wanting, is that everyone is numerate. And I think being numerate and being mathematical are very different things. And actually, I think that we need to focus on the numerate, and maybe instead of making students resit GCSE maths again and again and again, maybe we need to give them something new. And maybe there's 3 pathways. It's A-level maths, core maths, which is an incredible qualification and something that I think everyone should do, maths or core maths. But if that isn't the pathway for you, I think we need to introduce some kind of numeracy, like teaching them all the things that people want. So mortgages, interest rates, all those things. But I think it would be a separate thing. But I think before we even look at that, we need to come back to GCSE and just say to ourselves, are we doing what's best for the kids at the moment? Because there should be another option for those students who aren't mathematical. Because I think everyone is numerate, but I don't think everyone is mathematical. And I think that is currently where the argument for maths to 18 falls. Because if you start saying to people, oh, you've got to do it until you're 18, they're going to switch off. But if you give them a choice, I think that's the way forward.
And that's the way forward. So the way forward is make sure that we ensure that we answer the question why, make mathematical more representative so that everybody can see themselves in mathematics, because mathematics is a global thing, not just a European thing, it's a global thing. And let's make a differentiation between numerate and mathematics. We all should be strong in numerate, but if we want to be a mathematician, we can choose if we want to. Thank you very much indeed, Becky, and for that interesting insight. And my name is Professor Nira Chamberlain, President of the Mathematical Association. And this has been the 9th edition of What is the Point of Mathematics? Thank you very much indeed, Becky, for your views. Thank you.